Joe. I'm responding to your paper 2 on artificial intelligence. As the world continues to grow more technologically advanced, more technology is required to assist the everyday person in accessing the virtual world. The assistants of the digital era are AI or artificial intelligence. No, not like Skynet. What's Skynet? I've heard of that. But programs like Apple Siri or Amazon's Alexa. These devices are made to learn about you, maybe, and analyze your personal habits to tailor an online experience for you. We see other AI programs filtering out your email and deciding what is spam and what you need to see. Oh, that's interesting. I didn't think about spam filters. The latest to join the AI game is cars, and soon the roads will be overrun with autonomous automobiles. All of these new technologies are innovative and exciting, and as they continue to be refined, it raises the question of how ethics and how artificial intelligence can make ethical decisions. That sentence is too long. Let's see. All of these new technologies are innovative. Well, all new technologies are innovative, aren't they? Because otherwise they wouldn't be new. They wouldn't be new. So I feel like that whole first part of your sentence doesn't really make sense to me. Maybe it could start at, as they continue to be refined, it raises the question of ethics and how artificial intelligence can make ethical decisions. That's where I'd start that paragraph. I may have already shared with you, when I am writing my introductions, I almost always just have to cut off the first few sentences, no matter how hard I try, because it just takes a while to kind of settle in as a writer, I think. To understand how ethical code can be implemented into artificial intelligence, it is important to understand how AI works. Your typical machine runs off a series of code or algorithms that tells a system how to react. A series of code or algorithms. So by that, do you mean that algorithms are a series of code? Yeah, I need you to be a little more clear there. Say you have a device that organizes objects by color. The code would tell it to analyze the color of the objects and then put it into a corresponding group. Whoever coded the device gave it a clear list of rules to follow, and the system does not think on its own, but just follows what its direct input is. That's a lovely, clear explanation. AI is not given a straightforward code and does not carry a specific function. Oh, right. AI is given a base code that it then builds onto itself, learning from either controlled or uncontrolled input. That is really well explained. Well done. A system learning from controlled input would typically be given materials to associate with a term, like a picture of a dog. From then on, the machine would be expected to know what a dog is and be capable of identifying one. This process would be repeated with everything that the creators want the system to know. Then they can either stop the machine from learning new information or let it continue to learn out in an uncontrolled environment. It does sound scary when you put it that way. Most artificial intelligence devices do begin their learning process in a controlled environment, but all are eventually released into the real world. All of them are? Surely some of them are, fail. But even if that's not the case, anytime you are presenting an argument and you say everyone or all the time or always, it just weakens your argument because people can immediately be like, well, I mean, always, right? So it's generally speaking much stronger to say some or many or most, just so people don't dismiss you immediately. Coming back to it. At this point, an AI's education is reliant on human interaction to tell how to behave and dependent on who the intended audience is. This can be beautifully spectacular or horrifyingly catastrophic. Oh, I hope you're going to show us both. It looks like you are. Take, for example, Microsoft's Twitter bot Tay. This seemingly friendly project created by the Microsoft team to learn about conversing online had good intentions, but was quickly turned sour by various Twitter users that managed to turn Tay into an absurdly racist program. Okay, I think I did hear about this. It was a long time ago. Okay. In reaction to the crazy things Tay was saying, Microsoft released this statement. Unfortunately, within the first 24 hours of coming online, we became aware of a coordinated effort by some users to abuse Tay's commenting skills. Tay responded in appropriate ways. The social experiment was immediately stopped, and Microsoft removed the worst comments for the Tay and You Twitter account. There's a few ways you can interpret. Wow, that really feels like a new paragraph. you're ending everything you had to say about what happened, and then you're going to talk about interpreting it, right? There's a few ways you can interpret how the internet handled Tay. On one side, you can argue that people in general are assholes, and well, you can see I'm reading this in real time. Sorry. I mean, people are assholes and will exhibit bad behavior as soon as they're left unmonitored. Or you could just mark off what happened to Tay as humorous and innocent. Personally, I found the event to be pretty funny. However, it is a prime example of the dangers of having artificial intelligence learn from an open source of information. It is the primary reason that I believe the general public is incapable of educating an AI system. However, either way you view the incident, it shows how an artificial intelligence system learns and creates its own thoughts. The other thing that I'm thinking about reading this paragraph is the fact that okay, maybe it shows us that people are bad, as we were saying. Sometimes people do destructive things. But also this issue, maybe you'll talk about it later, but I'm thinking about the issue that how do we prevent AI from taking on the characteristics of the worst characteristics of humanity, basically, right? Racism, sexism, greed, like, how do we make it not enhance the bad things about us? But maybe you're about to get to that. Okay, good story. Chatbots like Tay are just one version of AI that currently exists today. Another more harmless and useful application of artificial intelligence is virtual assistants, such as Apple's Siri, Amazon's Alexa, Microsoft Cortana. Who even knew that existed? And Google's Google Assistant. Okay. We, the users, use these information to get... We, the users, use these... How about... Users get daily information, like today's, that would be much clearer, like today's weather or even the most recent news update. Again, I'm just going to throw in, like, rather than just this general many people do that. I'm paranoid, so I don't have Siri do anything for me except find directions and write emails for me because I'm paranoid. Okay. Unlike Tay, these programs learn from one person and tailor themselves to work as best they can for that user. Systems like these are the friendly face of AI software and are generally appreciated by most people that use them daily. Ah, see? There you did it. Most people. Generally appreciated. Good. On the other side of digital assistants is a type of artificial intelligence that is generally disliked by everyday customers but loved by producers. Cookies. Ad targeting or cookies are attached to your online ID. They track what you search up and what you post to the internet, logging and learning your own personal interests, hobbies, and habits. For example, one day you could be looking up something as random as garden gnomes. You're good at picking examples, too. It just sounds funny. And, I mean, garden gnomes are funny, but also it sounds funny, garden gnomes. And the next day when you pull up your preferred news service site, Okay, so I think you meant to say there will be. Oh, goodness. And the there's in English are so confusing. So you want the there will be, which is just kind of this way that we step back and we just say, there is, right? Without really giving a subject to our sentence. We're just like, there is nice weather in Hawaii, right? And that kind of there is the THERE. You have used, and maybe it's just a typo, so I don't want to go on about this, but you have used they are, which would mean we could, that apostrophe represents the A that is missing in the word are. It was they are, and we took out the A and put the apostrophe in. That's what apostrophes do, is represent missing letters. Not to get all grade school on you or anything, but a lot of people I've found have not ever discussed that. Okay, anyway. So you don't want to say they are will be. You want to say there will be. THERE. While if you're like me, you may find this to be a breach of privacy, it's not necessarily illegal. Vast majority of sites alert you that they use cookies when you enter them, allowing you to decide whether you use that site or not. The law only gets involved when systems like those begin to learn and create rules hiding information from one group of people versus another. Oh. Very interesting. I was just gonna add one tiny thing here, idea-wise, I'm loving it. But you put the little VS for versus, and you want to go ahead and write that out. Generally speaking, in academic papers, you shouldn't use any abbreviations. I guess there's a few. There's always exceptions to every rule, right? So, I mean, you would use the abbreviation etc., etc., period. Or you would say Mrs. So-and-so, right? Put a period on that. But generally, we don't want to use any abbreviations. Whoa, that's the end? That's the end! I was just getting excited! Okay, so I'm not sure that was long enough. Is that long enough? I feel like maybe you didn't finish, which kind of bums me out because I was excited about the next paragraph. Okay, if it's too short, and I'll let you look that up, I just won't conclude that in this particular video, just so I can wrap the video up. If it's too short, then I am dying to know, and you need to add to this, explain about this hiding information from one group of people versus another. I mean, in my mind, I'm thinking that's about, like, you know, if I go to Amazon and Amazon knows that I love buying noodles, all the noodles will be more expensive for me than they are for somebody else because Amazon knows, like, she'll pay more money for noodles. It's not as good an example as garden gnomes. Okay, and just looking at your works cited real quick. This looks okay to me. One tiny thing is that your works cited need to be in alphabetical order. So you need that artificial intelligence first. Okay. Interesting stuff. Thank you.